And you're back to Global Business Report. Nigeria's startup Cutstruct Technology has raised $600,000 in a pre-seed funding round for its business-to-business construction procurement product, Livend. Founded by John Oamen and Tayo Odunsi, Cutstruct has built a construction procurement platform that allows buyers like real estate developers and contractors to engage vetted vendors while enjoying other services such as transportation, goods in transit, insurance, and trade credit. John and Tayo are here with me in the studios right now to discuss this $600,000, and my ears are always tickled when I hear about money. This is the time when everybody's talking about old currency, new currency note, and you guys are bringing dollars in, so I'm sure the central bank would love you guys, and Mr. President too. I'll try and reach there. All right, thank you. John and Tayo, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
What's your business, really, in just a very short, briefly tell me about your business and why you think a further funding round is needed for what you do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. We basically are trying to digitize the construction process. Basically, technology is an enabler, so it helps anything that already exists be better, be more efficient. And so we're trying to do three major things. One is to help real estate players buy the materials efficiently, hire the right labor, and be able to manage both as the two major factors in construction. Of course, there's few other factors. Right now, we're focused on the first one, which is the procurement platform to help them buy a bit more efficiently. So we're just taking all the processes that already exist, building it into a platform that helps them do it a lot more efficiently.
When you say buy procurement, do procurement more efficiently, is it in terms of what?
So in terms of reaching, the right vetted vendors, like you said, in terms of even arranging the information. So typically, you're buying construction materials, maybe 10 different materials, right? And for each one, you need to talk to maybe 10 different vendors as well to get competitive prices, to get good quotes and stuff like that. So that means you're talking to 100 people. Yeah. Typically, before now, that will be 100 pieces of invoices or 100 emails or 100 phone calls. We've built a platform where these vetted vendors are put on a platform like Uber.
You vetted them already?
Yes, so we vet them with a vetting partner that we have on the platform, yes.
Okay.
And so when you request for quotes, these people can send in quotes to the platform. You can see, you can sort, you can choose the one that works for you. You can negotiate if you need to, and you can do your transactions online.
A lot of complex work must have been taking place at the background. So Tayo, I'm going to ask you, like vendor vetting, insurance for goods, and things like that. How much work have you guys put into this, by the way?
Well, we started in November 2019, so just to give you an idea, that's about 3 years worth of work, doing a lot of iterations, understanding what the users actually need. We both have had over 15 years experience in the real estate market ourselves, so we're industry players, we know what the pain points are, but we've not taken our own experiences for, universal. We've also engaged with the biggest developers, contractors over time, and understood what are the pain points. Some of those pain points are buy materials, pay for them up front, and the materials either don't come or they don't come complete, or they're just fulfillment challenges. And so we've put in an escrow layer where even though you pay up front, the money doesn't get to the vendor. All right, he's able to fulfill, knowing that you've paid. All right, he knows that you've paid. He delivers and immediately gets his money once he fulfills. We know that organizing transportation can be challenging as well. So we've put in a logistics layer, and most times, especially for the mid-sized transactions, there's really no insurance, and you must have seen tractors or lorries tip over bags of cement and things like that. Someone has lost money there. Every transaction that is done on our platform enjoys goods in transit insurance. So, we've had to work with partners to deliver all of this. Also, financing is a big issue, and we've been able to get a very good financing partner who already had a, credit lending, digital lending solution, and just white labeled it, for our purpose. So this is some of the work that we've done over the last couple of years.
At the end of this interview, I'm just going to give you guys a note to the Bureau of Public Procurement in Abuja, because we need what you folks are doing. at the federal level?
That would be very much appreciated. Yes, we understand that's a big use case, for us. And every time we talk to people, they say things like this. It really would simplify the procurement process. And also, what John was trying to say, a lot of times developers don't even know how much they've spent on a project. If you do all your transactions on our platform, you can see on a dashboard how much you budgeted and how much you eventually bought all the materials, and it aggregates all your transactions. So our platform can become a source of truth for even you as a developer or a contractor to know what you've truly spent on a project. And this goes beyond you just saying, but I have a very good accountant that keeps the records.
I think you should rather go straight to Mr. President. Because we need kind of what technology we call disclosure. In the financial market, we call it disclosure. That's what you folks are using technology to deliver.
Absolutely.
Disclosure when it comes to real estate procurement, invoicing, insurance, and what have you. Because with that, it makes us help get value for money. But again, let's look at the cement industry. John, in terms of what that cement per consumption, is there potential for growth? And with what you are putting on the table, how does it help the entire infrastructure space by using technology as a basis for transparency, accountability, and value for money in what we do?
Yeah, we think there's definitely room for growth. In fact, we think that transparency typically will unlock markets that are currently skeptical. So there are a couple of people who would like to do real estate construction transactions, but when they think of all the headaches, they would probably rather much put their money in a safer bet, right? Which is why real estate has always seen quite little, inflows of FDI, for example, right? People who live in more structured environments can't sort of deal with all that happens back home. The nuances, right? So we definitely think it will unlock markets. However, in terms of per capita, we have a slightly different view. We think that the population of Nigeria, as it is, per capita basically talks about population. We would always be at a disadvantage because there's as much cement as we need, right? So we feel like that per capita calculation, though true, may not necessarily represent the true nature of things here because we have over 200 million people, which is not, very common. Definitely, platforms like ours would increase transparency, would make people more sure to be able to get into transactions because they know that they can see. Over time, when we're done, they'll be able to see end-to-end their process. Yeah. And they can sort of have that ability to make good decisions, make better decisions. So we think it will definitely, increase.
What happens if a business-to-business connection is made on your platform and one of the parties says, I'm changing my mind, I'm backing out of that? How will that work out, Tayo?
Well, it could work out a couple of ways. One of which is that, there's an escrow solution that already warehouses the funds. If you've not fulfilled, you don't get payment. So if there's a back out before fulfillment, it's very simple. Money is just paid and gone. But if, you as a vendor, you've, taken the goods to the buyer site, and at that point he then says, you know what, I'm not purchasing it as well. His money has already been held in escrow. So any logistics cost that as a vendor you've incurred, can then be backed out, and he gets his money, but you also can take your goods back. And just to touch on what John was saying, we believe that over time, a platform like ours can be, like I said, a source of truth even to vendors to understand what is required. Because the question you ask sometimes talks to, manufacturers not knowing the volume of supply that is truly required. So that's why sometimes, they don't know that people are going to be building so much, so they don't make so much cement. They don't know people are going to be building so much, so they don't have so much iron rods. But in a platform like ours, it's that data that we have. I tell you, once we have like 1 year's transaction data, it becomes information for all these manufacturers to then project.
I got it. The data reveals if you need more. Perhaps it will help us resolve some of the price fluctuations and volatility sometimes. Absolutely. Because folks want to build, then cement manufacturers who are not producing, then suddenly rush back, then the price of cement suddenly go up in the market. Exactly. You say, oh, hold on a second, cement is now whatever 1,000 per bag, because so everybody's kind of working in the dark between the developers. That darkness, because you're not sure what the cement...
It's like information asymmetry that our platform absolutely solves. And so we don't have all those lags. That scenario you described is real. It's been there for the last 15 years of my real estate career. people rush in, and there's no supply. Then there is supply, prices go up, and then oversupply, and
you should just keep going up and down. Again, with imports, sometimes you're not sure whether you should import more or you should import less if you're importing iron rods or whatever, because you're not sure what the market is going to say. So you got capital tied down. If you've gone to the bank to take money and no demand is coming through, interest rate is coming. I think you guys are the angels, the angels in this real estate. But about $600,000 in the pocket of both of you right now. I'm beginning to wonder what you folks are going to use $600,000 for.
I wish it was in my pocket. One of the advantages of being, an entrepreneur over 15 years is that we've learned a lot of structure. We've studied businesses that failed, and we've seen why. Some of the reasons include the lack of structure, right? So that's why I said I wish the money was in my account. We've been very, very deliberate around choosing our investors, setting up a board, building structure into the business to make sure that money is properly accounted for. Because the truth is, the man who spends money that is not his may not necessarily be bad if he doesn't put, controls. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the business is in itself such a sucker of funds, right? That you sort of need to, so for example, this round raise started in January when we got our first investment, right? And immediately we started building the platform. We started hiring the right tech talents, bearing in mind that we're competing with the global stage, because since the COVID pandemic, Nigerian tech developers are working in the US, working in the UK, working anywhere in the world, as long as they get their jobs done. And they're paid in foreign currency. So you're the Nigerian startup and you're saying you want to give them X 100,000. That translates to X hundred or tens of dollars or pounds. So we have that to compete with. And so immediately building our infrastructure around tech, building the platform. Also, it's a complex one, so you don't just build it, you have to test. And it's an opportunity for me to thank some of the people who have actually helped us. A couple of developers were magnanimous enough to open their doors and work with us to test the process of building. So that's the first thing, making sure that we have the technology right. The other thing is, of course, we have to spend money on building the right partnerships. So getting all the partnerships that we need. We just talked about goods insurance, a lot of that, and of course building a team. So those are the major things that we've already done till date. What are we focusing on now? Because it's two different hats, fundraising and selling, right? So it's typically difficult to do both at the same time, but that's the process we've had to go through. And we're grateful to all our investors who have, graced us with this money and this responsibility to now begin to deepen relationships with our customers, to now begin to deepen even the robustness of the platform, right? What we started with 3 years ago looks nothing like what we have today. And what we will have in a year will look almost nothing like what we have today, because we're now going to focus. We've onboarded about 60 construction companies currently, and we're looking to grow that number to about 100 before the end of the year. And we now want to focus to make sure that what we have built delivers the value that we want it to deliver. The Nigerian market is very complex, as we all know, in anything. And so that is our focus for the next few months.
But if I ask Tayo if what you're working on will be applicable beyond the shores of Nigeria, because again, the construction sector across Africa is huge. You have Shelter Africa there in Kenya, talking about housing development and trying to mobilize funding. And the backbone of any economy, and every economy historically speaking, since the creation of man, is all about housing, because that's what the first basic need of man after food and clothing. So,
yeah, absolutely, you're right. And I was even going to butt in to say that in the next couple of months, we already have Nigerian clients that have transactions outside of the shores of Nigeria in neighboring countries like Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Kenya, who see that this platform, especially being Nigerian companies, it helps them to better manage their projects, even from a dashboard sitting in their Ikoyi office. So they really want us to come on board, and we're looking at doing those necessary integrations on board, the necessary local vendors that will provide those services, but the platform will be used. So just to go straight to your point, some clients are already accelerating our movement out of the shores, of Nigeria.
Today, both of you were here to talk about your $600,000. When you hit $1 million, let me be the first to know. Right here on the show.
Will do.
John and Tayo, it's good to have both of you.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
great
It was a pleasure.
weekend. Thank you, and congratulations.